welcome to the Rap.
What's going on, podcast world? It's Monday, so you know what that means. It's an all new episode of the Rap Lab. It's your boy, the controversial Candy Man, the ALFRE to the D.
What up? It's your boy, the one and only, the only one, the Red Barber MC.
To G or not to G? It's the question. Y'all know who it is. Y'all know what I do. Always keeping it true. It's the Q.
Hey, y'all know who I be. It's your boy T.O. Y'all know that question that always remains for all the fans around the world. What's the dealio?
And what the dealio is we continue in the report card series. So last week we did the 80s, the week before we did the 90s, and this was all started because the hater, Kool Moe Dee himself.
Oh, will you stop it?
The hater, Kool Moe Dee himself.
You just want to get your ass kicked.
Ask it by who?
The hater Kool Moe Dee, man. I don't understand this dude. You just be asking for it.
Listen, the hater Kool Moe Dee with his questionable grade.
Kool Moe Dee is not a hater, man. He gave his opinion.
Decided to make a report card. So we decided to make our own report card of MCs not on that list. We assigned each other one rapper each and gave ourselves one rapper each. So we graded 4 each on the same Kool Moe Dee scale. Will one of us be a hater? Will one of us be too generous? Or will one of us get it just right? All right. So we'll start out. Further ado, QG, since you claim Kool Moe Dee's not a hater, you playing defenseman. You start out. So who's the first name on your report card, and remind the people of the categories that we're grading on.
Well, since you playing quarterback, I'd rather be on the other side so I can tackle your ass down in the turf. But let's get started. First person on my list is AZ. And I'm going to keep this very, very simple. Going through the criteria, for those that don't know, you can check the archives. The grading scale is vocabulary, articulation, creativity, originality, versatility, voice, records, stage presence, sticking to themes, and innovative rhythms. I have a grade of AZ as a C, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll tell you why. Vocabulary, I gave him a 9. Articulation, I gave him a 10. Creativity, I gave him a 7. Original, I gave him a 9. Versatility, I gave him a 7. Voice, I gave him a 10. Records, gave him a 7. Stage presence is a 7. Sticking to themes is a 7. And innovative rhythm is a 9. Just to keep this simple, my regular average scale of a 7 is what it is. It's 7. If you have done something that is what I've heard before from other people, or if you lack of a certain criteria based on my ears, I will be generous and give you a 7. And you got to be a diehard AZ fan to appreciate the records. I feel AZ does not have those standout records as far as once you hear it, you know who it is. It's just like every other rapper. If you hear In the Club, you don't even have to be a hip hop fan to know who that's for. That's the thing with AZ. Now, not to say AZ is not a legend. He is. In my book, he is one of my favorites. But judging by the grading criteria, I have to give him a C. And that's where I rank Allah Zigzag Zig.
Wow, I'm surprised you're giving AZ a C average. That's
when you break down the criteria, there's a reason. Are there any questions for any of them? Why I did what I did?
I see where you're going. I respect it.
I have to because AZ, as good as he is lyrically, he doesn't stick to one thing. He puts everything in one song, everything in one rhyme. There's so many concepts that he talks about. And, his voice, obviously, he's one of the most recognizable voices. You could understand AZ. Articulation, the words he uses, he pronounces it very well. Creative, he could tell a story, but does he do anything that has never been done? Especially during the era where he really started to come out. A lot of people thought he was from Queensbridge when he first came out.
I did.
Well, look, a lot of people didn't know he was from Brooklyn. A lot of people, you had him under Nas, and so that's that he had to step out of that, especially with the label he was with. His first label was Motown.
I should have known when Dead President's video came out.
Yeah, man, but I got AZ as a C.
Wow. Okay. T.O., who's first up on your report card?
Lord, I have to do it. QG, this is your fault, so you might as well get it out the way. MC Ren,
Damn,
this
that's a lot of cussing.
I don't know why you're taking a deep breath for MC Ren when MC Ren is a legend. But go ahead.
he is a legend, but it's off the back, like Al said, it's a lot of cussing, so vocabulary. Y'all gonna hate me. I gave him a 6. I'm sorry.
A 6.
No, I'm sorry. He does not
That's
really.
understandable.
He doesn't really have. I probably would have gave him a 7, but all the cussing kills the vocabulary.
But
He's he's like
wait a minute. He said one of the most impressive bars I've ever heard.
one impressive bar that doesn't cut it.
Now,
You gotta admit, he does curse a lot.
now,
He's like the Red Fox of rap.
now,
I'm sorry.
As much as I quote MC Shad for one thing, QG, you know I quote MC Red for one thing just as much.
And there's a curse word in that same bar that you quote a lot.
My-
So this
my
is
bad.
proving the point.
My man said kick in, like a kick from a kick drum. Yellow boy on the drum getting dumb. Programming, a beat that's hitting. And if you fuck with us, you know we're not bullshitting dope.
See,
Like a pounder of
two
keys.
curse.
So shut the
There
fuck
we
up
go.
and listen to me.
See, number 3, 3 curses in one in one already.
I'm sorry, dog.
Continue.
I gave. Well, I forgot. I didn't even give him a letter grade. I gave him based on the total number. Sorry, all of them actually. Articulation, you can actually understand him clearly, so I actually gave him a 9. Creativity, I gave him a strong 8. So did originality. Originality, I gave him an 8. Then versatility, I never saw it in him as much as I tried to listen to a lot of Ren stuff, even through NWA. Unfortunately, I gave him a 7. Voice is kind of recognizable, so I gave him a 9 on that one. Records, I was a little torn because when it comes to MC Ren solo-wise, he doesn't really have much records out. It's not really stand out, so unfortunately, I gave him a 7. Stage presence, he's not really bad. I actually gave him an 8. I had to like really research stage presence when it comes to MC Ren. It was kind of tough, but I found a couple and I was like, all right, his stage presence is not bad. Sticking to themes, he's actually kind of good at that. I gave him a 9. And innovative rhythms, I gave him an 8. Overall, I gave him a 79.
Wow, so we got a bunch of C grades here here so far. But I'm not shocked because MC Ren, as good as he is lyrically, like I said, too much cussing and post NWA, he never really did anything of note.
That's what hindered him in the group. That's it, like he didn't transition as well as Dre being a producer and Ice Cube being who he is. Ren and people, would debate at the time, especially Jerry Heller. He said he always felt Ren was the better rhymer, but that cursing, man, it really hindered.
I always call him the Red Fox of hip hop. Cuss like a motherfucker.
But
Not only that, but out of everybody in NWA, next to DJ Yella, it's safe to say, Ren was the least marketable of the group.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. You can't market MC Ren. MC Ren is his own man. He does his own thing.
Has
That's
anybody
one of the main reasons why I respect him.
Has anybody ever heard of a edited MC Ren record?
Nah.
First of all, if you hear the edited version of an MC Ren record, that's nearly 80% of the song gone.
There's a joke that me and Tio talk about where they performed a clean version of Chin Check, and he actually was ad-libbing with some clean vocals, and it just didn't sound the same because when Ren's not cursing, it's not MC Ren.
Yeah. I give him credit for freestyling on Rap City where he didn't curse. And then I don't know, him and Ice Cube switched powers on that episode.
I mean, but if he would have cursed, he got kicked off the show, and Big Tigger would have got canceled.
Ice Cube was cursing like hell on that freestyle.
Yeah, they blocked out Cube's cursing, but Ren was able to ad-lib in with other words, which was pretty cool. It was good for Ren to try that. But like y'all said, Ren is not a marketable guy. You won't hear Ren on a radio.
But he's still a legend.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
That's the villain.
all right, Mr. Rev Barber. first up on your report card, sir. Who and what did you give him and why?
All right, so I'm gonna go with Ti, and I actually gave him a B plus. The scores added up to 89.5. So for vocabulary,
Wait, hold on.
man,
Before you go, you actually put decimals in it?
yeah, because some of the grades I gave like a half a point, just point fives, nothing crazy. You know what I'm saying? So
Oh, okay.
yeah. So with vocabulary, I gave it 9.5. Articulation's a 9.5. I mean, the man has memes about the way he speaks, you know? I mean, even Cardi B's uneducated self on that Netflix show that they were hosting had told T.I. like, oh man, how do you know so much words? It's called reading a book, Cardi. Um, Creativity, I gotta give it 8. I just feel like some guys from the South, it's kind of hard to jump out of a creative box per se and like separate themselves due to like, you know, whether it be like the accents or, you know, the trapping or, you know, that trunk music they make. So yeah, I'll give them an 8 on that. Originality, give him a 9. You know, he definitely was one of the first fathers of what they call trap music, even though it's gone like a very different direction from what he used to do. Versatility, I'm giving a 9. Songs like Live Your Life, Dead and Gone with Justin Timberlake and Rihanna respectively on Live Your Life. He shows that he could hang with these artists, these mainstream artists, and bring in those millions. Voice, 9. I gotta give it to him there. You know, he has a very distinct voice, very distinct accent. Records, giving him a 9. Bring them out, big shit popping were huge records when they dropped. I remember them joints would always be spinning on the radio, on the videos, on TV, all of that. Stage presence, I'm giving him a 9.5. A lot of movement, very hype when he performs. So, yeah, I'll give him credit with that. Sticking to themes, 9. His albums do have good flow, you know. I've enjoyed a couple of his some of the middle catalog of his albums. Some of the later ones, not the biggest fan, but him in his prime, he definitely like Ti versus Tip. That was a very dope theme. I actually really enjoyed that. It doesn't get a 10, like I said, because of like the later albums. Innovative rhythms, gonna have to go 8 here. It's the lowest one I did with creativity. He could make you bop and everything, but like I said, sometimes I feel like, you know, he kind of gets looped in with some of the OGs of down south, you know. So yeah, he gets a B plus on my board.
That's a pretty good score.
Okay. Anybody want to question his ratings for the man or no?
No, it's actually decent.
I'm actually
Yeah, it's a good
surprised.
score.
I'm actually surprised because for those of you who follow us on Instagram at Rap Lab Pod, we did a live a couple of weeks ago where Rev Barber was not too very critical of Ti. So I'm shocked he scored so high.
Bro,
T.I.
I'm surprised too. Trust me.
because now you have a criteria that you can
Yes.
work with, and to clear it up about that live, there was for a reason. It was because of what he said. T.I. said that he could, you know, the whole thing with him in the verses and him never being out rapped on a song. We questioned that call. It had nothing
We
to do
did.
with the albums. The albums are good.
Yeah.
That's a different
Yeah.
call.
You know, as like QG said, you know, doing this criteria, you know, I had to be truthful and I had to be honest as far as like, you know, the ratings and everything that we're pretty much judging by. So yeah, I gotta give him up, man. You know, he's solid across the board as far as this criteria. You know, he's not one of my like go-to rappers now, but you know, I can't take away the work that he did. I can't like in the middle of his the early catalog and in the middle of it, you know, I can't take that away, man. Big impact on the game.
Facts.
Okay, fair enough. All right, I guess it's my go around. So I'm going first with the artist I gave myself, Joey Badass. So, Mr. Badass, for vocabulary, I'm giving Joey a 9. Articulation, I'm giving him a 9. Creativity, I'm giving him a 10. Originality, I'm giving him a 10. Versatility, I'm giving him an 8. Voice, I give him a 9. Records, he gets a 7. Stage presence, 8. Sticking to themes, I give him a 10. And innovating rhythms, I give him an 8. Overall score of 88 for a B plus.
Okay.
B plus ain't bad.
No,
That's
not for
not bad
Joey.
for Joey.
Not for
No, that's
Joey.
not bad for Joey. That's not
Yep.
bad.
Yeah, so Joey scores very high in my book. I think, like I said, his biggest areas are creativity and originality. Because when Pro Era first came on the scene, nobody was really talking about Third Eye this, Third Eye that, Chakra this, Chakra that, 47 this, 47 that. So I give him that. Originality, nobody is like Joey or the rest of his crew. So, you know, I was more than happy to rank him there. His records, I had to struggle with only because while I enjoy his music, and even though he's like big on the acting and whatnot, he never really had that one mainstream record. And then his attempt at a mainstream record, and it's crazy because there's only one Joey Badass song I dislike in his entire catalog that I've ever heard, and it's Devastated. When I heard that, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? But
I
I
love that. I love that track.
really,
I do, bro. Yo, man, like we spoke about it on the mental health issue, man. Like, dude, that's one of the most uplifting songs, man. I think everyone should hear that song, man, if they haven't.
Right.
It's
It is a
great. I
good song.
value that
It is a
that
good
song
song.
a
It
lot.
is a good song. The
like
message in it is very powerful.
Yep.
compared to everything else in his catalog, like that song sticks out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, it
But
does.
like it just don't sound like everything else. But and I know I say mixtapes don't count, but out of any mixtape I ever heard, 1999 is one of the greatest tapes I've ever had the pleasure of listening to. So, and then of course his first album Before the Money and All American Badass. I would love to hear Joey drop a new album just for the
Yo, 95 to Infinity is my shit.
93 to Infinity, sir.
No, he said 95.
Uh, oh yeah, you're right. I'm thinking
Yeah, it was 95.
I'm thinking of Steve's. My bad. But yeah, man, that's what I give Joey. I wish he would get off the movie set or the Wu-Tang set for 5 minutes and go drop a track. But
Hmm.
you know, shout out,
You
shout
mean
out
you mean Raising Canaan?
that too. But I fucks with Joey. So
He does his thing, and I enjoyed his approach because he sounds so much like a '90s rapper, and that's what really attracted me to him. Like, man, this kid is just he sounds so polished and rugged. You know what I mean? I'm going back in time with him. That's what made me a fan of his work. So I appreciate Joey.
Shout out to Joey, man. What was that movie he had? It was on Netflix. It was really powerful as hell, yo.
Yeah, he got a I believe an Oscar for that.
Mm, well deserved.
It
He's
was a
doing his
short
thing.
film.
It was a
Yeah,
short film and well deserved too.
yeah, Joey
Took me a
doing his
while to
thing.
realize that was actually him. I'm like, wait, that Joey?
Word. Joey
That's him.
Badass. And shout out to his tag team partner, Badass.
Oh
Again.
God.
oh come on.
Well, you got to shout him out.
All right. Next up, QG. Your second go round.
50 Cent. I gave
Mm.
I gave 50 Cent a B.
All right.
50,
Break it down.
okay, vocabulary. I gave 50 a 7. You
A
know,
set.
it's a 7
Ooh.
for vocabulary. Yes.
Kind
50,
of
50,
understandable.
50's not gonna wow you with his words. It's like the words he chooses is very direct. It's very simple. Articulation is 8. Creativity, I gave him a 7. Originality, I gave him a 7. 50 is really a hybrid of the MCs that came before him. He is a student of the game, but that bully, that tough, you've seen it before. Versatility, 7. We know 50's message. You know, if it's not guns, if it's not drugs, if it's not women, if it's not violence, if it's he's a hustler. The voice is a 10, straight up. And I'll tell you why, because for him to take a negative and turn it into a positive, it shows you the resilience of 50 Cent. 50 got shot in his face. When you hear him on a record, you know it's 50 Cent. You know, even prior to that, his voice was recognizable. But this, he made it work for him. The records is a 9, straight up. Just off his major commercial debut, Get Rich or Die Trying, you could still play those records from that album and you'll still lose it. Even some songs from the Massacre, and you could throw in the G Unit records, especially Beg for Mercy. Stage presence, 50 is actually a pretty good performer. I gave him an 8 for that because he's running around, he's going from this side to that side. He does the Queen's bop, that regular 90s bop that you always see, but when he's on
Yes,
stage,
sir.
he does it. That's his signature, man. But he's going from stage to stage, especially when he performs What Up Gangster. As soon as What Up Gangster comes on, he's running out there. Sticking to themes, I gave him a 10 for that because whatever the record is, he stays with it. Candy Shop, he's using that metaphor with candy as it involves the sex. PIMP, he's talking about pimping. When he's doing a diss track, what I mean? He's very good with that. So he stays to that. Innovative rhythms, I gave him a 7 for that because, like I mentioned earlier about him being a hybrid of other MCs, 50 raps like the people that he enjoyed listening to. What I mean? He comes from Queens, so he grew up, he came up listening to all the other people before him. Not just that, but he also said, Rakim was one of his favorites and G-Rap and everybody like that. So innovative. Sure, you've had people try to copy his character and try to be just like him, but as far as the rhythm goes, innovative rhythms, I got to point out, is something that no one has ever done. We've seen people, like that. Especially Pac was one of his favorites. So, 50 is a follower of his influences. He'll add in his element and he'll tell his story, but I got him a B. I got him rounded up as a B, 50 Cent.
Okay. And the overall score was?
He was in the 80s. Because from anything for me, 85 and above, that's the plus. But he got up to like an 84. Based on my count. So I was like, okay, he got a B.
Okay. Anybody got questions or opposition to that?
Not really.
Now, shout out to the Queen's Bop. It's in our soul, man. It's just what we do.
That's it. It's natural.
I'm saying.
That's what we. It's a great way to start it. Like once you're standing in the club or whatever, or the party, you're just moving from side to side, man. It just gets you going.
Man, you could live on that shit the whole night in the club. You be all right. You ain't got to know how to dance.
Easy.
And all right, T.O., who's next?
All right. I was interested when this came up. I gotta go with Blue. So Blue. Blue is, he's not really mainstream, but he's really a nice artist, and I actually been following him since.
For the record, I have no idea who this is.
You got to get up on it, man.
Oh man,
bro, just start from the album Below the Heavens?
Yeah, with Exile.
I'm gonna get to that part in a minute. Mostly about him and the collaboration. So Blue, vocabulary, I actually gave him a strong 9. He's actually has some good vocabularies. Articulation, he actually create a good storytelling type songs, and there's a lot of catalogs this guy has, whether it's solo or collaborations as well. I gave him a strong 10. Creativity, not bad. I gave him a 9 on that one. 8. I'm sorry. Originality, I gave him an 8. He's like one of those conscious rappers that we were all used to hearing back then, so I love it. Versatility, I actually gave him a 10 for a reason, because one, he could also harmonize in the songs, not only rap, but when it comes to collaborations, it's something about this guy that he does not work with one producer on an album. He can go to follow with other people, like my man Damu the Fudge Monk.
Who the hell is that?
Don't worry about that, Al. Don't worry. Like I said,
Damu the Fudge Monk. Yeah.
You gotta, bro. When I say these cats of production are nice, they are nice. Obviously Exile. And funny because every time I hear Blue and Exile, they're like the chill version of Prodigy and the Alchemist.
Yeah, true.
That's a good comparison.
They're like the chill version of Prodigy and the Alchemist when you listen to those two. What's next? I lost my thought. Oh, Voice. Voice is I kind of gave him an 8 on that one.
Fair.
Yeah, I gave him an 8 on that one. Records, unfortunately, he's not mainstream wise, so he gets a 7. Unfortunately, stage presence, I've actually seen him through videos and barely on stage. He's another one that's hard to find to perform unless you have like personal people who upload stuff on YouTube. He actually gets a strong 8 in my opinion. Sticking to themes, he does really well in my opinion. So I actually give him a strong 10. And innovative rhythms, I actually gave him a good 8. It's not much. Conscious rap is hard to get people riled up.
True.
Because when you overshadow by trap music and the bounce music, it's going to toughen that up. So I gave him a strong, I gave him a strong 88 on that one.
That's pretty good. I like Blue.
Blue's actually good. Al, when I say listen to the guy, he's really great, man. Because it's been times that when I first heard Below the Heavens with Exile, I said, "Yo, who is this guy?"
Yeah.
That's a classic album right there.
And he has some good tracks that you could actually like probably listen to over. And I forget what track is because he has like a good 10+ albums solo wise.
Yeah, he does.
He has a catalog.
And I forgot what was the song with Bishop Lamont and Skyzoo.
Yeah, I was bang.
That was crazy, man. But yeah, Al, Blue gets a good 88, but overall, I like him as an artist. Always have.
Yeah, he's from Cali. The West Coast cats is always in there.
Yeah, back 10. Where you at, man? Help him.
All right, Rev, second on your report card.
All right, keeping it moving, man. Now I got Royce the 5'9".
All right.
Okay, so I gave him a B+. He actually totaled for an 87 on my list.
Okay.
Vocabulary, I give him a 10. Articulation, he gets a 10. I feel like vocab and articulation, it kind of goes hand in hand. You know what I mean? Of course, the pronunciation counts. And, you can't, like, have all these big words and not be able to, like, execute it or pronounce it right. But, like, guys like Royce, he's a wordsmith. So, he's going to get that right. You know what I'm saying? Creativity, I give him an 8. I mean, he's had a lengthy career when it comes to like, rhyming and it just, when you're a superb lyricist, you can always be creative through lyrics, but through songs, that's another story. And he just hasn't had, that mainstream hit or that crossover hit to make him like a creative artist per se, as far as like, the songs and music, not the lyrics. Originality, I give him a 9 only because he has a lot of self-produced albums. And, that takes a lot to like kind of put the ball in your hands and produce an album, for Delph. He definitely stands out amongst the Detroit MCs. And that's why I'm giving him like a high grade for originality, because he doesn't sound like nothing like Detroit artists, other than Eminem. When you hear Eminem and you hear Royce, that's not how they get down in the D. They don't sound like those kind of rappers. You got lyricists there, but like, shout out to like CMC Guapo, like guys like him who's been on our show. Guys like him, like they make that homebred music. They got like kind of like a Bay Area feel, like kind of like almost like the horrorcore kind of sound. My wife could definitely get into that. She kind of schooled me on that. Versatility 7. One thing about him, I just feel like sometimes he is kind of just a rapidy rapper. And it's hard for him to make mainstream music. I haven't heard him do anything like super versatile, like the way M has done, like I touched on earlier. Like, he's done, well, I actually haven't touched on, my bad, that's T.I., but they both have collabed with Rihanna. I haven't seen a Royce collab with like a huge mainstream artist or anything like that. Voice, I got to give it 9. It sticks out. I know 9 nickel every time I hear the voice. I already know what time it is. So, I'm going to give like high grades on the voices if you don't sound like nobody or you can't be compared to nobody, because I can't compare Royce to anybody. Records, I got to give him an 8 on that. And I feel like that's being generous too. But his biggest records are always featuring people, whether it be M, he got a J. Cole record, so it just, I would like to have, kind of rated him higher, but he just did not provide like, huge records like that, in my opinion. Stage presence, he's an 8. These rapidy rappers always do the best when they're on stage, with the movements and everything. So, he's quite entertaining. Sticking to themes, I'm giving him a 9. Once he did away with the rhinestone do-rags and actually got himself like kind of found who he is as a rapper, as a lyricist, he stuck with that. And you always get great lyrical content listening to Ruiz. Innovative rhythms, as I said, before, as far as like when you got a rapidy rapper, it's easy to get the crowd involved. It's easy to make people bop. So he gets a 9 on that. So yeah, B+ for me.
I agree 110%, and I feel as a fan of Royce, I felt he didn't find himself like you said until Layers. Because when Layers came out in 2016, I said he finally got it. Because prior to that, Rock City, Death is Certain, and Independence Day, Street Hop, Success is Certain, even though he has some records on there that you could get into and you could like I feel when anytime him and Primo get together, it's always great.
Oh, I
Oh
love the
yeah.
But
Prime. Woo.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
anytime him and Preem get together, it's beautiful, man. But Layers, Book of Ryan, and the Allegory and any other Prime stuff, fantastic.
Word. Yeah, my bad. A little off topic here. I just want to shout out the Los Angeles Rams on their way to a Super Bowl. Not
Oh,
really the
yes.
biggest Rams
Yes.
fan, but shout out to my mom's up above. She was a huge Rams fan, being that she's an Aries and they had a female owner. So just want to throw that
Oh,
in,
that's
just in
beautiful.
remembrance of
Yeah,
Mom
that's
Dukes and
cool.
I
everything.
predicted a
Yes,
few
yes.
weeks
God
ago
bless.
it was going to
God
be
bless.
Rams and Bengals, and I'm right. So now I'm just going to root for both of them. I don't care.
It's gonna be a colorful Super Bowl.
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool, man. God bless. Yes.
Yep. Shout out to moms up above.
Yes. Yes. All right.
Candyman.
All right, so I guess it's on me now. Uh, so my next one, going with Mac Miller. So, and it's interesting because I like Mac Miller, but I like I never really in depth listened to him. I only have 2 of his albums in my possession, but here goes. So, Mr. Mac Miller, hold on, let me pull up his score. So, vocabulary, I gave Mac Miller a 7. Articulation, 9. Creativity, 8. Originality, 10. Versatility, 8. Voice, 10. Records, 8. Stage presence, 8. Sticking to themes, 10. Innovating rhythms, 9. That is an overall score of 87 for a B+.
It's good. Pretty high.
I believe I've said it on this show before, but Blue Slide Park is one of the greatest debut albums I've ever had the pleasure of listening to.
Word.
Reason I gave him a 10 for his voice. You could put on a track, not tell me what you're about to play, and I know Mac Miller's voice when I hear it. It's distinct.
To be
Uh,
technically honest, he is kind of recognizable.
His
yeah,
voice does stand out.
his vocabulary, especially in his early records, was kind of limited. So that's why I had to bog him down. Funny story, his stage presence. Now, I went to a concert back in no, not early, but like mid 2012. Again, and this all goes back to Joey Badass. It was a Mac Miller concert, but Pro Era was opening up for Mac Miller. I didn't go there to see Mac Miller. I just went to see Pro Era. But that was the night I became a Mac Miller fan when he came out and headlined. But yeah, so and his stage presence was on point. It's a shame he had his battle with his drug addiction, which actually played into me giving him his grade for sticking to themes and originality. So it's unfortunate that that's how he got that grade. But hey, at least the man was honest. But yeah, I give Mac Miller a B+.
Okay, that's
Hey,
pretty solid. And Mac
understandable.
and Mac has a big fan base. I didn't know how big his fan base was until you know, obviously after his passing and the outcry of getting more of his work out there. Like I didn't know how big his fan base was because I used to hear the songs from Mac. I'm like, okay, yeah, this dude, he's cool. But yeah, Mac, that's a good score.
Yeah, man, Mac Miller. Wish he was still here to make some more music, but all right, Q. Round 3 for you.
Corday.
Another
I
person I'm
have
not familiar.
Corday.
Another person I'm
Yeah.
not familiar with, but go ahead.
I'm going to be real with you guys. The first time I ever heard of Corday, he had an interview on Stephen A's World on ESPN. And I said, okay, who is this kid? And I heard him rap. I said, all right. And then the name was given to me for this. So this is how I got to do it. And listening to his albums, I say this. Vocabulary, I give him an 8. Articulation, I give him a 10. But let me be clear. I feel he can do more with his vocabulary. He just chooses not to. I sense that there's some more in him, but he chooses not to go that route. Creativity, I'm going to give him a 7 for that. Original, I'm going to say a 7. Versatility, I'm going to say an 8. Voice, I'm going to give a 7. Records, I'm going to give a 7. Stage presence, I gave him a 9 for stage presence, and I'll tell you why. Because when he performs, and you guys could refer to the Tiny Desk performance on YouTube, he has the Bob Marley effect. When Bob Marley is performing, he closes his eyes and he's feeling every word that he's saying in the mic. I feel Corday gets lost in the song. Like he pours a lot into the song. And the fact that he's doing that, you can feed off that energy. That's the thing with that's a trait that a lot of artists not use. And to quote Dougie Fresh said it: the people will like your music if you like your music. If you're an artist and if you know your song is good, if you feel it, you have to show it on that stage. And Corday, that's exactly what he does. He feels every word. Sticking to themes, I gave him an 8. Innovative rhythms, I gave him a 7. Now to tie it all in, he reminds me so much of J. Cole. When I hear him rapping and he's incorporating a lot of the singing and into the rhymes, I've heard it before. It sounds great. And he's very big into the religious part of it with the choir and the church and everything. Not to say he's a religious rapper, but incorporating the gospel sound into the raps. And he's very, very direct. He could be very harsh with his words. Like if he's saying something, like I remember on his other project, I made 7 million off Coca-Cola. He was very brash and very, very bold with that. He can do that, and he could switch it up and tell a story about how he came up. He came up pretty hard, and he's a kid. You know what I mean? He's only 24 years old. I feel he's just scratching the surface with what he has. I would like to see some growth as far as his direction. He's keeping it real. How he came up, how he grew up, and what he's been through. He had a hard life, especially for somebody so young. But I feel that he can definitely do a lot more, and he's been nominated for Grammys. The kid is very good. I got my eye on this kid. I want to see him get more. So I got him as a C+ here.
I felt like when he dropped YBN, he got better for some reason. It's like I don't know.
He's improved from his other project. Yes,
Yeah.
He has. Because when I heard The Lost Boy, I said, all right, okay. But from a bird's eye view, I said, oh, this is different. And, I see growth. I see growth coming. Like every project, every song, he's starting to evolve and get more into it. Like the last performance I saw him do, he had backup singers and everything, and he was really getting into the song. So I expect more from Corday, and I think he will give us more as he gets older.
And he killed Lil Wayne on that track. I don't care what anyone says.
Of course he did. He wrapped circles around Wayne.
Anybody contest or have a question for QG on his report on Corday?
Good system. No, good shit.
All right, T.O., you next.
Oh, boy. All right, here we go. So I guess I got to start by spelling Fabolous, that guy. So vocabulary, he's not bad. I actually gave him an 8. Articulation, I gave him a 9. Creativity, for some reason, I follow Fab from 2001, or actually, let's just say from The Professional. I never really saw creativity a lot, so I gave him a 7. Originality, I gave him an 8, but that's because he had a little bit to do with the raps and the fashion and the throwback jersey, so I gave him a little bit on that. Versatility, I gave him an 8. Voice is kind of recognizable, so I gave him a 9. Records, he got an 8. I mean, he used to have the records, but once the 2000s came, the competition got bigger and it kind of wiped Fab out a little bit, unfortunately. Stage presence, 7. I'm sorry, but this guy does not really have great stage presence.
He does not
I'm sorry
have
to say.
great stage presence. He doesn't. That's one of the weaknesses in this game.
I'm so sorry. Sticking to themes, I gave him an 8, and innovative rhythms, I also gave him an 8. Overall, I gave him an 81. So what is that, like a B minus?
Yeah, that's a B minus.
Yeah, that's a B minus. You know, to add to that, let me ask you guys a question, because we all know about Fab, and we know how Fab started. Do you guys feel what hindered Fab is he was trying too hard to have commercial success?
He didn't have I felt like he was not too much finding his identity. Like, I think like when he came out with his Ghetto Fabulous album, I actually liked it. But then as times changed, you could tell Street Dreams, he was trying to sort of get into the R&B type tracks now.
And that was a problem, because with Fab, especially at the time when he first came out, and Rev, you could attest to this, because back in high school, there was the debate who was the best puncher. Was it him or was it Banks? And at the time, when Fab first came out, he was punching back to back to back to back, just like Banks, was doing. So people was wondering, well, who's the best punchliner? And then you throw Cassidy in there. You throw these other guys in there. So compared to how he started to where he went, and again, those soul tapes are great. The mixtapes are great. But when it comes to the albums, there's a problem.
He just like I said, he doesn't have an identity, in my opinion. And then he tries to cater when the new sound comes, like the whole Diamonds in My Damn Chain. I couldn't stand the damn song.
I didn't like that song.
Throw it in the bag. Hated it.
Like that.
I think what hurt Fab is that he didn't want to do any more albums and he just wanted to be mixtape Fab. That's what I think hurt Fab.
Sort of, but.
And he didn't want to make albums. He always wanted to do freestyle Fridays and all these different tapes, and that's just like.
Yeah, I don't see nothing wrong with that. I know you do, because the way you
that.
feel about mixtapes.
Can't win a Grammy off a mixtape.
Yeah, but Grammy's not really been the standard since Nas won it,
And it goes with what T.O. was saying about the records, because what are his most popular records? The biggest record that I hear on the radio constantly is the record with Tamia.
Into You.
All the time.
His biggest hits are, from my standpoint, are Into You, are Breathe, Holla Back, Youngin', Can't Deny It. And I would even arguably say the track he did with Uncle Murda and Jay-Z, the Brooklyn joint.
They didn't really play that much, unfortunately.
Yes, they did. That song was all over the place.
That was a New York banger.
But it fell off quick. That's the problem. It fell off quick. They were playing the hell out that song for a good month or two, and then they just forgot about it.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's not like how you
anywhere else.
But I don't know. But see, the problem is, you still got that song Into You with Tamia, which technically is actually her track first. Then later on, he covered it.
With Ashanti.
That was
song. What was
Can't
that?
Let You Go.
And
that's always been played a lot.
And look at that gangsta.
They didn't play that song. But see, the pattern with this is they playing a lot of songs from him catering to women. They don't play all the other stuff like the Can't Deny It that much or the Brooklyn track that much. Yeah, and if you in Brooklyn in a club, but they always going to play So Into You, Can't Let You Go. They're going to play all the tracks that he did catering to women.
Yeah, I feel like you guys said, as far as like trying to chase that like commercial success, it kind of hurt him too, And right. I feel like, if he would have like kind of like kind of what Al is saying too. Like maybe reserved himself and not done so many mixtapes and kind of focus on like being in album mode and making the album special, because you can oversaturate yourself as an artist by dropping too many mixtapes. So I feel like, in a sense, both sides is kind of right on this.
And to be technically honest, you could tell by his demeanor in Real Talk. He didn't look like he had the hunger anymore in Real Talk.
He didn't. And you know what really messed me up, and I get mad at that? On the Joe Budden album, Rage in the Machine, there's a song where Fab is not even rapping, he's singing using auto-tune. And I said,
I remember that track
too. What are you doing?
Fab,
you and Joe
Fab,
on a this is Desert Storm. I want to hear bars. You singing on auto-tune, Fab? No, dog.
But that's the problem. He was trying to cater with the new sound, but it didn't fit him.
That didn't fit.
Especially when the digital era came. Oh, Lord.
Come on. No, man. I expected more. Like when I bought the album and I said, "Oh, you and Joe Budden on the track? Oh man, we go back to the
what was that other show? Girl, man. You be killing them. You be killing them. I hate that song.
They played that heavy too.
And that's another problem.
It's for the models. It's for the models. It's for the models. When the models are walking the runway, that's the song.
There's nothing wrong with catering to the women, but it's like once Ja Rule took that to the high level, then everybody started doing it.
But y'all also got to remember, because y'all keep saying like, oh, they play that a lot, but we in New York. We don't know if they playing all that like outside of New York. They're going to do it in New York because Fab is our guy. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not sure he's getting these same spins out in Texas now.
That's a fact.
I could tell you for a fact, in the NO, I didn't hear Fab till in the NO at all.
Yo, you didn't hear him out
there?
No,
I heard one record. It was Holla Back Youngin', and that was it. And they didn't even play that all that often.
Shout out to Neptunes.
I tell you one thing, there should be a whole episode of Neptunes. That would be 3 hours long. They deserve their flowers.
Right. All right, so
I think it's
all
Rev.
Right. It's on you, Candyman, right?
Oh, Rev, I think.
Oh, Rev is next?
It's Rev, yeah.
All right, Rev.
All right, no doubt.
What you got?
So we got next up on the list here, we got Al's favorite, Eminem.
This will be good.
Y'all know I don't fuck with Marshall.
You don't know that man to call him Marshall.
So you're probably not gonna agree with some of the things I say here. That's cool. But I gave him an A. He got a 95.5.
Yeah. All
Okay.
right.
He wouldn't be him, you know what I'm saying, without this grade. You know what I'm saying? It just leveled out this way. So, with the vocab, the articulation, he got a 10 across the board. Not many cats could do what he does on the mic. You know what I'm saying? Busta Rhymes can, as far as like, the speed rapping and, even late in his career, Eminem, when it comes down to like the freestyles, he definitely goes off. When it comes to, the records, it might be a different thing, but we'll get into that. Creativity, I got 10. Stan is in the Urban Dictionary. You know what I'm saying? Like,
man.
How could you argue that?
Based on that alone, that should be a 12.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And just his whole persona, his whole character, it's creative. We seen like, white boy rappers before, but we ain't see it the way Eminem was doing it now. You know what I'm saying? So, that ties into originality, which I gave a 10. The whole blonde hair and white t-shirt and making, what I'm saying, like rebellious kind of music, like and his stance as being, someone from the Midwest and everything. And I feel like he united a lot of black and white folks through music, you know what I'm saying? Because white folk ain't really have too much like hard MCs besides like the Beastie Boys. Of course, shout out MC Search and everything, but like Eminem kept that going, you know what I'm saying? Like there wasn't many cats like during his time that was white and putting it on like the way he was. So, I'm giving him the originality 10 there for that. So versatility, I went 8. He tries, but like not every track could be as clever as Superman was. That's how I feel like the most versatile he could get as far as that. I know he has the track with Rihanna and everything, but he kind of just was him on that. He ain't have to do nothing outside the box like he did on Superman. Voice 9. I know a lot of people may say he has like kind of a whiny, kind of cringy kind of voice sometimes, but like I said earlier, if it stands out, I'm gonna give you a high grade. Like if you play something and I already know who it is for me, your voice is gonna get a high rating for me. Records, I gave a 9.5. Lose Yourself, Till I Collapse, Without Me. These are in the billions as far as streaming.
Facts.
And that's not even counting like single sales and album sales. And when it comes to the records, man, he knows what to do when it comes down to it. I mean, maybe not now in his career, but in the thick of things, when it was his prime, he definitely knew how to drop a record. Stage presence, 10. I've seen him live. I saw when he brought up the Kim blow up doll. And
I remember that.
I remember that.
man,
that.
yo, he is
Woo!
hell of a showman. I know he's
He
older,
is.
he's matured now. He's showed that on his latest records and stuff. But like, yeah, that stage presence, man. Yeah,
Especially when he insulted the Insane Clown Posse.
yeah. He knows how to bring the ruckus when it comes to being on stage. So he gets a 10 for me. Sticking to themes. I got to give him a 10 because he has a different approach on his albums, whether it's coloring his hair brown or being on his John Cena Army Militant flow. He sticks to his themes. You know what I'm saying? Like
He
when it
does,
comes,
though. He does.
yeah, when it comes down to like an assignment that he's given himself, even if it's a whack album, he's gonna stick to the theme of it being whack or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, we could argue about whatever it is as far as like rehab or rehabilitation, all them joints, you know what I'm saying? Like those aren't favorable, but he stuck to the theme on those albums where he was talking about, a subject matter throughout the album. So we may not like it, but he stuck to the theme. Innovative rhythms, like I said earlier with Royce, lyricists are always going to get a high grade for me because like when you hear an MC rhyme, like a rapidy rapper rhyme, you ain't got no choice but bob your head. And Eminem gets him, man. Lyrically, you can't take that away from him, yo. So that added up to a 95.5, and he gets an A.
Love it. Love it. That's excellent.
Shout out to Mr. Mathers himself.
Exactly. Oh yeah, man. I agree with everything you said, Rev.
Oh yeah.
I mean, M is one of my all-time favorites, and you already hit the nail on the head. And I think with M too, it depends on the record. Whatever he's feeling, whatever the song is about, he stays in the pocket with the theme of the song. And M, especially when Relapse came out and I heard 3 a.m., I'm like, what the hell is this? Where he was like kissing the naked mannequin and walking around naked in McDonald's. Like M is off the wall. He's off the wall with certain records. But then he could pull you back in and talk about. He could give you Mockingbird, where he's talking about his daughter.
That's funny you said off the wall, and I was just listening to that song
Yeah,
with Redman.
the joint with Redman. That's the thing too with features. When he's collaborating with another artist, that's the thing I love about Eminem. He is so competitive with features. That's why there's that narrative. Oh, I can't do a song with M because M is going to body me on my own record. People still run with that. That's what I love about M. Whenever he's working with somebody, he wants to give you the best verse. Well, you can.
Well,
say
that's
Jay-Z,
even though that's questionable.
I mean, because
because
Renegade was a song with him and Royce.
Royce, yeah, exactly.
That old record been out, but M put Jay on it, and even though the record with Jay is still a good record, it's a great record. Like when M and Jay get together, it's great. They did Renegade, and Renegade is a standout record. But M has worked with Wayne. M has worked with Game. M has worked with 50. He's all his works with Dre. Like, come on, when you put on Forgot About Dre, who stood out?
Oh, clearly M.
M, because and Dre showed it. He's like, M is the guy. So yeah, man, I totally agree.
Yo, his verse made me laugh on "Bitch Please" too. He was all good up until the end, and the next he's like, "Suck my motherfucking dick back. You happy now?"
Y'all are very lucky that him butchering Tupac's legacy has nothing to do with the report.
I don't know
card.
Oh,
why you
here we
keep
go.
bringing that up every
He
single
didn't
time
butcher
about butchering Pac's legacy and everything like that. Just stick with what he does, man. The Marshall Mathers LP
Yes,
is one of the
he
greatest
ruined
albums I ever heard.
Tupac's legacy. He did that.
Marshall Mathers LP is one of the greatest
He
albums
wrote
ever
that.
created.
He wrote that letter to Afeni Shakur. Okay, he.
Oh, here we go.
You keep
Ain't
bringing
nobody
up all
thinking
this
about
stuff,
that.
man. Right? Ain't nobody thinking about that. Let that go.
Every time something from Loyal to the Game comes on, I gotta hit skip in the car,
So
man.
don't listen to it then. Don't listen to it.
Put it on shuffle.
Listen to the Slim Shady LP or something like that, man. And that's the thing too. When I first heard My Name Is,
Hi,
laughed.
kids.
I said,
I'm like, what the hell was he talking about?
Who is that guy? And another thing, like Rev touched on, guilty conscience. Guilty conscience is a great concept.
That video makes me laugh.
Yeah, but y'all don't want to talk. But y'all don't want to talk. Y'all don't want to talk.
Eddie.
Y'all don't want to talk about his duds, right? Y'all forgot about boing boing boing. Y'all forgot about that,
Of course
right?
he has duds. Of course he has duds. But so does your favorite. Ooh-wee.
That will be the Colonel.
Dubs. I need dubs.
I Need Dubs was a decent record.
No, it wasn't. Stop it. That
He
record was trash.
He stole it from LL Cool J, but
That
that's
record was trash. Both him and Romeo disappointed me.
Oh man. All right, well, we're done with Marshall, right?
You don't know that man to call him Marshall.
Will you stop calling him Marshall?
That's his name, Marshall.
All right, Marion.
Hey, you don't know. Hey, you try to get us killed.
And Percy and all the rest of those guys.
Stop it.
It's Sean, all of them.
Anywho, I'm gonna be very honest. This next person who I graded, I thought they were gonna grade far higher than they did. Their actual grade when I was done surprised me, and y'all might have some issue with me. But I had Prodigy from Mobb Deep. And
man, hey, you know, my bad to cut you off, man. You know, I wasn't on the 80s episode and all that, but I heard what you said about MC Shan and you know, my backyard and all that from Queensbridge, man. You need to be careful with all that, man.
You still not invited, dog.
Yeah.
Wait. What did I say about MC Shan that got you all hot?
You just don't let that go, man. I was editing the YouTube joint for us. I'm like, man, he just still disrespecting Queensbridge, man, the South Bronx and all that. And QG was saying you don't know any of the lyrics or any of the damn KRS songs to what he was saying about Queensbridge. All you saying is the bridge is over. There ain't nothing. We still here, baby.
Listen, KRS-One said, and I quote, and I didn't hear a peep from a place called Queens.
Well, apparently that was a lie.
Yeah, big lie.
Well, it wasn't a lie when MC Shan had to go on tour and open for KRS-One because he lost.
And MC Shan still came out and still did his thing. Did you not see the videos of MC Shan that I sent you? I should send it to you, Rev, so you can see what Shan is talking about. Because Shan challenged KRS-One and KRS-One declined. And
because he beat him in the Sprite commercial.
He beat him in the Sprite
commercial.
But
that's not important. The Bridge Wars was more important.
And you can't even call it the damn Bridge Wars because if the entire Juice Crew got involved in that, Boogie Down would have died.
It was not a Bridge War. It was just Shan and KRS.
I don't know, man.
That's why Roxanne Shante had him shook.
Bad.
KRS would have slaughtered all of them, man.
No, he wouldn't. Oh, you would damn not. He would have been.
And listen,
didn't you say Nelly beat KRS-One?
But that's on a technicality. But anywho, listen, KRS-One. Listen, I don't have a dog in the fight. I'm not from the Bronx. I'm not from Queens. So I'm a neutral party.
You just like to insult.
You a damn liar.
That's the only problem.
Ain't no neutral party. Your ass is biased.
Every single time.
I've been keeping that man relevant. I've been quoting his song lyrics.
You're not keeping nobody.
Controversial Candyman.
Yeah, you ain't keeping nobody.
Call him Sour Patch.
Listen. Maybe MC Shan would have won that battle. He would have took all his homeboys off the crack. How about that?
You just keep going on with the same crap over and over.
What do you mean?
As a matter of fact, I hope MC Shan has been listening to these episodes so he could do a video about you.
I sent this dude videos. He ain't even watch him. Shan already addressed all the things that was going on.
Listen.
With the verses.
First off, Rev, you talking about that's not nice. I'm just quoting what KRS-One said. Since y'all said I don't quote bars.
If any of y'all, you KRS, would get on that F train and get up to 21st Street in Queensbridge and walk up them stairs, you guys would turn right back. You would not say none of that to them guys over there. And them guys are there probably right now.
They would not even make it past the turnstile. I don't think so.
Word.
Listen, man. Listen.
Stop insulting Shan, yo. Shan is the forefather, man. Show some respect. I don't have pioneers.
I don't have nothing against Queensbridge. I'm a Nas fan. I'm a Mobb Deep fan.
You don't care.
What do you mean I don't care? I like
you know what it is? You just like to insult MC Shan because of what he said on the Beef DVD about the doorbells with the real bitches singing the notes. That's the only reason why you go after him every time.
First off, that you're right. That's the reason why I'm mad at him because that nigga had no boat. And I still, to this day...
How do you know that? How do you know that?
Because I know the nigga was working in the Valencia jeans factory.
You think because he lost the KRS, all of a sudden he went broke. That shows how much you know.
Listen. I still, to this day, and that DVD came out in 2003. I have yet to see the doorbell ring and bitches singing the notes when you press the
You
doorbell.
acting
All right?
like the man
That's
is
your
broke.
Bible, that DVD.
Yeah, exactly. You acting like Shan ain't got no money. You act like Shan is just some bum off the street. No, he's not.
I never said that. He's not some bum
That's
off the
what you.
street.
Well, the
That's
way
what
you
you're
talking, you making it seem
insinuating.
like he
That's
is.
what you're insinuating the fact that he lost the KRS and all of a sudden he died. Wrong.
Listen, he's not some bum off the street. He's just the old head who sits in his car and drinks.
And how many old heads do you know from your era? How many old heads do you know from the South and from New Orleans that ain't doing much? You think everybody from No Limit had money? You think everybody from Cash Money had money?
A good majority of them did.
A good majority. What?
Oh no, those were rented, man. Come on,
Rented?
man. You know they had a lot of problems with Birdman, yo. Come on,
The
man.
cars,
Turk
the
himself said
jewelry.
it.
You think
Wayne too.
all of that was real? No.
When you got Wayne even saying it, that's a problem.
Listen, but we talking about MC Shan. How we get over
When
there?
Shan did it, and when Shan did, like when they when they had the gold pieces and everything like that, real. Went to the jewelry store.
Yeah.
All that was real.
Absolutely.
There's levels to this, man. You can't disrespect a man like that because of a beef DVD and because you think it's funny. That's the only reason why you doing it.
And he about to diss Prodigy. I feel it.
I'm not about to diss Prodigy. I love P.
Let's get
Man,
into it.
we going to Queensbridge one of these days. I'm gonna take you there, man. I'm gonna bring all the recordings.
Man, you better have him sitting on the F platform because he ain't gonna make it out the damn
He
train
goes
station.
downstairs and waiting.
You might as well send his ass right back to Coney Island or wherever that direction going.
Yeah, word.
Don't even continue to Jackson Heights. Just go right back to Manhattan,
Exactly.
Well, anywho, and while we in Queensbridge, I'll be glad to go to the Foot Locker. But anyway,
I knew he was gonna bring that up. I knew he was gonna all because of the Bravehearts. All because of the word that one of the members of the Bravehearts works at that Foot Locker. That's the only reason why he wanted to go there. You want to go there and get stabbed and shot and chased out, man. That's your problem.
nah, I just want to get a nigga to death.
You might as well go to Roosevelt Island with that.
Hey, I chill on Roosevelt Island. But anywho,
That's where all the crazies are.
Yep. So you might as well stay there.
Better get on that. You better get on that tram and head back to Manhattan.
Yeah, word.
Next
You
day.
ain't afraid of heights.
all right, but Prodigy though, vocabulary, I give him a 9. Articulativity, this surprised me. I gave him a 6. Originality, I gave him a 7. Versatility, 6. Voice, 10. Records, 9. Stage presence, 8. Sticking to themes, 10. And innovating rhythms, 8. Overall score, 83 for a B.
I actually agree. Now, I was surprised you went nice on the stage presence because, you know, we spoke about how these guys just be like mobbing on stage, you know, and the way Nas and these guys are.
I actually like him as a performer. I saw him perform twice in my lifetime. He wasn't too bad. I mean,
Let me ask you a question. What was your take on his solo work?
Well, his solo work I feel his Mobb Deep work will always overshadow his solo work. Mm-hmm. But low key, HNIC, the first HNIC is actually one of my favorite albums of all time. I hardly ever hit skip on that album.
What about the ones that came after that, as far as Return to the Mac and the other HNIC projects? That and that's where I was going, because you could see where the change is.
Yeah.
Man, you saw a change even through the Infamy era.
But again, I have to give him a 9 for records, because you can't talk about Prodigy without talking about his Mobb Deep work.
That's a fact.
And Mobb Deep has had some classic records, big time records. Shook Ones Part 2, Quiet Storm. You know what's funny? To this day, on Hot 97, they still play The Burning.
Really? I'm surprised.
Yeah, they do.
They do. I hear it at least 4 times a week.
Do you know how many rappers freestyled over that instrumental?
Word.
Quite a few.
That instrumental is so captivating, and also with P. 1995, he was looked at as one of the best rappers, or probably the best lyrically at the time in 1995. Because look at all the features he was on, and look at all the work he was doing. P
but
gets heavy respect.
Yeah.
I had to give him a 6 for creativity because
Yeah.
and then originality also had to get a 6 because no, originality had to get a 7, and versatility had to give a 6 because nothing made him different than any other gangster rapper of that era.
Until he tried that damn smooth voice on Hey Love. Hey
You
Love, I
know,
want to hold you and talk to you.
you're not gonna let Hey Love down, are you?
I'm sorry, man. Prodigy, I love you dearly. Rest in peace, but man, that just didn't stand.
Nah,
This didn't work, man. I'm
but shout
sorry.
but shout outs to P for showing my people love because we the young black entrepreneurs get money, get rich, get
That was
paid,
a dope song.
get paid,
That was a good song.
He always had love for them down south. P
and
did.
and
Yeah,
stash the insurance.
that was the one with BG, because that was a
Yeah,
dope
That's the
track.
one with BG.
and
Yes,
That
don't
was a
forget
dope track.
and don't forget my favorite Mobb Deep song of all time. And a hoe gonna be a hoe, and a nigga gonna be a nigga. Yo,
I,
I know I say this all the time, but when we talk about skits and outros, the skit on the end of that song is one of my favorite of all time.
Oh my lord.
I love the song with Cool G Rap, man, on Murder Music. I
Oh,
still
the
get
realest.
chills off. I still get chills off that joint.
That was
man.
like the birth of Alchemist, like being known.
Let me ask you. Let me ask you. Let me ask. Well, I mean, we could go. I could go around with y'all. Obviously, P and Havoc just have it, but when he went, started pushing the solo stuff. Did y'all prefer him working with Havoc more or working with Alchemist?
I like both, to be technically honest. I just wanted a balance.
That's hard.
Alchemist.
As a solo, I'm looking at because it's different with a group. It's different with him and Hav.
Yeah.
Him and Hav is something different. But even though he did some solo stuff with Hav just as a producer, there's something special with him and Al, man. I think Al is just so good at figuring out how to cater to P's style, especially as he got older and slowed down his rhythm a little bit. Because you see the difference with P when he first started, he was rhyming way different, and then he slowed it down a little bit. It kind of reminds me of Corrupt. Corrupt did the same thing.
You know why I say the Alchemist? Because, and this is no knock on Havoc, but I like Alchemist's production a bit more than Havoc's, and that showed because he never worked with the Alchemist prior to HNIC Part 1. And when I heard Keep It Thorough for the first time,
What a track.
That was excellent. That was excellent. And P ran circles on that song, man.
They play that a lot on Hot 97 too.
and they still play that to this day.
They do?
Yeah, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Bro,
Good. Well, I'm glad.
See, you're in North Carolina, but Hot 97 during the lunch hour from 12 to 1. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting about those.
Word, man. And there's no chorus on that song. He didn't need it.
He was keeping it thorough. What was the point of a hook?
I love it. Love it.
Alchemist deserves his flowers too as a producer, man.
By the way, on one last note, right? So for vocabulary, I wish I could have. I originally wanted to give Prodigy a 6. However, his use of words that are unique to him, such as done, I had to up his score. Other than him and Havoc, I don't hear nobody else talk that done lingo.
He ran with it.
Yeah, that's a Queensbridge thing.
Like on Quiet Storm, he said for all the little duns. But anywho, QG, your last recipient of the report card.
My main man, Kendrick. Now this
has got to be an A.
This was the guy that got the A. This was the guy that got the A. Kendrick Lamar, and I'm gonna go through it. Vocabulary. Surprisingly, but this is the thing. With each criteria, you thoroughly stay with that criteria. So I really paid attention to Kendrick's vocab. I gave him an 8 for vocabulary. I gave him a 10 for articulation because when Kendrick pronounces a word, he pronounces a word. Creativity, I gave him a 10 for that. He has these records, man. When I hear that Master Splinter and all this other stuff, and like especially the way that he could create a character. when he creates somebody out of thin air and give him a face, give him a name, and just tell the story. Original, I gave him a 9 for that. Versatility, I gave him a 10 for that. Voice, I gave him a 10 for that. The records, I gave him an 8 for records. I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to that because okay, Good Kid, Mad City. How many songs and that's my favorite Kendrick album, Good Kid, Mad City. I love Good Kid, Mad City. How many songs stand out outside of his fan base? That's where I was looking at. I don't just look at within the fan base, because within the fan base you could talk about it all day. You could, bro. Ask me what one of my favorites is on there.
Off Good Kid, Mad City.
Yeah.
What is it?
The song with MC8.
Oh.
And that's just me personally because I love MC8. And when Kendrick and MC8 got together, this is Compton we talking about. Are you kidding me?
Come on, niggas.
I couldn't wait to hear that record. So it's like I look at records like that. And then as time went on, we gonna be all right. We gonna be all right. You know how many colleges play that?
Oh my Lord, forget it.
Especially the HBCUs.
What? Yo, his later records started to.
I have to fight.
Oh my God! And then come on, DNA is a big record. Poetic Justice.
Humble was a big record.
Humble is another big record. Shout out to Kung Fu Kenny.
You know what's funny? My favorite Kendrick record is not even one of his most notable.
That's good. Which one is it?
Black Boy Fly.
Black Boy Fly is fun. Yo, he made me laugh off the Pimp a Butterfly because when I hear this, where it's like spoken word. This dick ain't free. When I listen to it, I just started laughing because of the way he was doing. This dick ain't free, baby, and all that crazy stuff he talking. Stage presence. I gave him. Here's the thing. Depending on what song he's doing, you'll get a lot out of him. Because when he's talking about police brutality, he's very fierce, he's very ferocious, he's angry. You know what I'm saying? Stage presence, I gave him a 9 for stage presence because he is very animated. That's another thing with Kendrick. Sticking to themes, I gave him a 9. Innovative rhythms, I gave him an 8. And I'm gonna tell you all, I'm gonna sum this all up. Kendrick is another hybrid rapper because one of his favorites is Corrupt. And early Corrupt is very animated, very hard on the wordplay, and that's where Kendrick gets it from. When Control came out, everybody was citing Corrupt. They was like, Kendrick was channeling his inner Corrupt. Because Corrupt at one time mentioned being the king of New York, but he wasn't talking about the borough. He was talking about Christopher Walken's character, and everybody took it out of proportion. Oh, this is New York. And that's when on Vlad TV, if y'all seen it, Corrupt went on that rant. He's like, we don't want y'all city. So when Kendrick did that whole Control thing, look what happened. When Kendrick said he was the king of New York, everybody started coming out with diss records. So
and like dumbasses, they didn't break it down why he said it.
Kendrick is a West Coast MC, and one of his, and he's also, he loves a lot of East Coast music. Nas is one of his favorites. He cites it all the time. Tupac is he did a song. He is so creative. He did a song where he's having a conversation with Tupac, and it sounded like an actual conversation. I said, this is one of the greatest things I've ever heard. This is creative. This is genius. So I gotta give Kendrick an A. He's one of my favorites. We did the 3-headed monster episode that's in the archives. Y'all can hear it. Y'all know Kendrick was my pick. Oh, this kid, man. I just love this kid. Section 8.0 as well is also great, man. Like he got that song where he's mad at Beyonce for hooking up with Jay-Z because he had a big crush on Beyonce.
Oh yeah, I remember that song.
I love that record. I love that record. That record is funny as hell. But he could talk about anything.
Beyonce, why
talk
you
about,
man?
Yo, he could talk about gangster raps. He could tell a story. He could do all different things, and he collab with everybody. But one thing that Kendrick gets a knock on is he's very, very animated. Because there's a point where he's rapping, and then he'll start making that noise.
I hate that.
I hate that noise. I hate that noise.
hate
I love Kendrick.
Yo,
I hate
yo,
that noise.
God is gangster
I
is one of them.
hate that
I
shit.
can't stand when he does that. No, that's the thing.
The
He
robot
does
shit,
that.
it gotta stop.
Oh,
Yeah,
I can't
you,
stand it.
are you talking about like that demonic devil voice?
I don't
It's a
like
robot,
when he
yeah.
does that.
Yo.
Stupid.
Oh.
Yo, I hate that so much, and
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
that's my only knock on Kendrick.
That's my only not like especially that new song, Top of the Morning. Oh, I can't listen
Yeah,
to that.
yeah.
Top of the morning, top of the morning, top of the morning,
I
top
think
of the
that's
morning, top of the morning. That's just I can't, Kendrick. You're doing too much. And the funny thing is too, he's also on a Taylor Swift record. I'm like, how'd that happen?
Oh, yeah, he is on the Taylor Swift.
He could be a crossover artist, but he could still come back down and still do his thing. They embraced him as the king of the coast. You guys ever saw that? Where all the West Coast MCs put their arm around him, is like, he's
Yeah.
king now.
And
That
then
was
Game
crazy.
turn around and diss him later.
Yeah, Game is a funny guy.
Freaking
man.
bipolar ass.
But that's my score for Ken. A for Kendrick Lamar, man.
All right, what about you, T.O.? Who's last?
I gotta get this wax out my ears. Oh, sorry. Q-Tip. Sorry.
There you go.
I'll mess with y'all. Q-Tip. Now this one, I didn't say it was tough, but I had to go with his solo work and Tribe Called Quest all at the same time, so I put both of them in the mix.
Yes.
Vocabulary is really underrated. I actually gave him a 9. Articulation, I actually gave him a 9 on. Creativity, I gave him a 9 because there's a lot of names that I never. What the hell is a Lucian? Is beyond me. He can make songs.
Lucian. Dun, dun.
Bonita Applebaum.
Which is one of my favorite. Bonita Applebaum. I like when he makes songs with these names. That's so creative. And I know I'm pretty sure Phife has something to do with it too. But I know Q-Tip is like the brains with the names at sometimes. Originality, I gave him a 9. It's not because of the way he raps, not only, but this is like around the time that you never heard of jazz rap like that.
He
like,
is original.
Like that is original. Like we never had jazz rap before. Versatility, I actually gave him a 9 because it's not just Tribe Called Quest, because he could jump on R&B records. I mean, Gone Till You're Gone with from Janet Jackson featuring Q-Tip. What a song!
Hey, Drink Away the Pain.
Drink Away the Pain, and then I still don't know what the hell he was on with that Missy Elliott song, but Q-Tip, we're gonna talk about that next.
He had an MC Ren moment.
Oh my lord. Voice, I actually gave him a 10 because
you can.
I know if this was Kubo D in the 80s, he'd probably give him a 7. But because times has gone by from then, I gave him a 10. So it's really recognizable. And anytime you hear Q-Tip, you know it's a Q-Tip. Records, he gets a strong 10 because it's not just Tribe Called Quest. Let's not forget his Amplified album. It can play Vibrant Thing anywhere.
You know something? I'm glad you brought that up because the album that came out after that doesn't really get the credit it deserves, and it's a pretty good album.
You know what the thing is? I like the album. My only issue with him was singing.
Yeah, the singing part. Yeah.
His singing was not good at all. I like,
That's
dog, what are you doing?
That's the thing. And the album that we're talking about.
It was in 2008.
It's the Renaissance
album. Renaissance, yep.
About.
I think it was called Blue Girl. Yeah, Blue Girl. That's what the track was, Blue Girl. Cool song.
And he's
but
great.
Not,
yeah,
it's great. But I have to give him 10 for records because when it comes to just like I was touching on with Prodigy and Mobb Deep, Tribe Called Quest got mad records that you could play. Leading all the way up to their first album, all the way up to not much to Love Movement because only Find a Way was played more than anything. I'm glad.
Caught my heart for the evening.
I'm glad the Booty was never a single because I can't stand that fucking song.
Because of the way he the booty.
Oh, I hate that. The booty. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Let's not forget though. Let's not forget that song with Raphael Sadiq is one of my favorites.
The PJ soundtrack. I forget about that.
That
Get it on.
That song is the joint, man. What?
to get involved with you. It's the SADDIQ. That was my shit. And of course, QG's favorite verse on Don't Curse.
Flim, flam, flim. Let my big black stuff. Are you kidding me? Q-Tip
Man.
tight, man.
Stage presence is not bad. I actually gave him an 8. Sticking of themes, he's not really. Actually, this is just about their creativity. When it comes to themes, I gave him a strong 9. And innovative rhythms, I actually gave him an 8. Overall, gave him a 91. He gets an A in my book.
I think he does deserve it, A.
Okay, well that's not. I didn't get a B plus, but you know, I agree.
What's your discrepancy?
So, T.O., what did you give him for voice?
I wanted to give him a 9, but I gave him a 10.
No, I agree. You give him a 10. Originality, he gets a 10. Vocabulary gets a 10 because, like you said, Lucy and Bonita Applebaum and all these other things, and he is the only person I've ever heard use the word So, but I don't know. I feel like.
I tried. It was hard for him to get a B plus, so I definitely got him.
You know what it is? I think I know where you're going with, Al. I think it's because he's so into the tribe roots. It's hard to look at him without the others, as far as it's a package deal. Because because Q-Tip solo, yes, he's good, but he's better when he's in a group.
Yeah, that I agree with that.
Is that where you're going? Is that where you're going, Candyman?
Yeah, that's where I'm going.
Because when he's with Fife and Shaheed Muhammad and Jerome, it's fantastic. But when you pull him away and have him out there on his own, it's different.
But you know the thing is, there's only one source that he could count on. That's Jay Dilla.
Oh yeah.
That's what kind of saved him, even on the Amplified album, is Dilla. And remember, Dilla was part of the back in the day.
You just pointed something out. I wish we would have had a Q-Tip and a Guru song, just those two.
That would be an interesting Guru and Q-Tip,
especially with their vocals. They don't yell.
No.
They're very low tone.
They've collaborated already, bro.
I don't count that record. And
How could you not count that?
I don't count that record.
You know what song I'm talking about?
I know the one you're talking
about.
The
Hitman.
No. I don't count that one.
How could you not count that?
I don't count that one.
How could you not count that?
I don't count that one.
But
not
why?
The Hitman. Not the Hitman. Not the Hitman.
Why don't you count that?
I'm talking about at the time when it's the same reason why we never got a record with Gangstar and Nas, which I wish we did. If we would have had a Gangstar Tribe Called Quest record at the time of their primes,
totally imagine Q-Tip on the premiere beat. I know Fife could do a premiere beat in my opinion, but Q-Tip on a premiere beat?
Think about that. Think about that at that time. That would have been crazy.
Oh, you wanted it while Guru was still alive.
Yeah, that's what he's talking about.
That's what I'm talking about.
We don't know when that track was recorded.
Bruh. How was Q-Tip on that track that you're talking about?
He sounded youthful.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. That's why I don't count. I don't count that record, man. I can't count that record. Especially, all he did was the hook. Am I correct?
No, he had a verse.
He had a verse.
He had a verse on there.
I have that album. That's my favorite song on the album, next to the J. Cole record.
I got that album, but that tells you something because, that one didn't work. I actually like From a Distance better because of Jeru the Damage on there along with the J. Cole record, but that's for another story.
All right, well, Rev, it's your turn, sir.
All right, wrap it up with my man MF Doom.
All right.
So I gave him he got a total of 94.5, so he gets an A. Vocabulary 9. Articulation 10. Vocab didn't match up this time because I feel like he does a lot of comedy in his rhymes. I mean, he's definitely well spoken, definitely a dope lyricist as well. Creativity 10. He has all these monikers, King Ghidorah, Victor Vaughn, and if you're a real fan of his, you could actually tell when he's rapping like these characters. On the side note of that, Versatility, he gets a 7 only because there's no mainstream or R&B records or no crossover records that he's done, where it's garnered like a lot of critical acclaim from like the mainstream. And
Right.
as someone who loves the underground, I know it's not all about that, but I'm going off the criteria here from the Cool Modi report card. Originality 10. Like I said, he has all these personas, the mask. The mask speaks volumes. Voice is 9.5. The dude sounds like a Marvel character. He sounds like something out of a comic book.
I love it.
And he's by way of Long Island, but originally from the UK. So you could hear a little bit of he'll drop the accent here and there. So definitely high on my board. Records is an 8, solid 8. With these underground artists, like I said, it's hard for them to do like crossover appeal, but they're always good at what they do. So if they know they're, doing some lyrical stuff, you'll get a whole a bombardment of lyrics and hard rhymes. And, with Doom, he's a character too. So he brings that, gimmick to up front as well. Stage presence, 10, hard 10. And it's funny because, there's a story of people performing as him. Like he wouldn't even go and he would have people wear the mask and perform as him. So I know people would be like, how could you give that a 10? But I feel like that's so masterful to do. You know what I mean? Like,
no, it is.
And he always said, don't go to my shows for the performance itself. Go there for the lyrics. Go there for the wordplay and everything. And like I said, I can see how people will disagree with me giving him a 10, but I think that's awesome. I think that's like kind of genius, if you would. It's definitely crossing a line doing something like that, and he had the guts to do it. Sticking to themes, giving him a 10. He came out with food, and all of the tracks was named after some kind of food, or he twisted it.
In
one beer.
Yeah, man, great album. And like I said, with his characters, he sticks to the themes with his characters, whether it be Victor Vaughn or King Ghidorah. So he gets a 10 for that. Innovative rhymes, 9. That old school flow is easy to get people moving. You know what I'm saying? And he does that. You hear any of his joints, it's definitely a head nodder. So yeah, man, rest in peace, MF Doom. He gets an A for me.
And especially the way he started.
Yeah.
He was a member of third base.
That's the fun.
Yeah.
Third base.
Yeah. KMD, everything. Like just knowing his history and where he came from and how he came about and to be transmogrified into this character of MF Doom and just run with it for so long. Totally reinvented himself. I mean, the man was genius.
I'll tell you one thing. When he gets with Madlib, oh my Lord.
Ooh, that's different. Ugh.
They should call it Mad Doomlib when it goes to that guy.
Yeah, they're gonna drop the Mad Villainy too, hopefully in the near future.
That was one of the greatest albums I've ever heard. All Caps is my favorite Doom song ever.
Hell yeah.
Good shit.
I remember that one track he had with Curious. I'm like, Curious? Where the hell he been? I haven't seen Curious in like years.
But
he was the one that had that song Uptown Shit.
But Rev, you make a good point. When it comes to versatility, the man never had an R&B record, never had a crossover record, and never had a mainstream record.
Right.
He just stuck to himself. That's it.
I never heard of a Doom song on Hot 97 until after he died, which is crazy.
Which is crazy.
Suckers.
But last but not least, it is me. And
I've been waiting for this one.
I am the controversial Candyman for a reason. Now, my 3 report cards so far, we saw 2 B pluses and a B. Unfortunately, I didn't get to grade anybody that got an A, but I did get to grade somebody who fell below a B. So
what? I gotta hear this.
With this being said,
Oh,
I had the indubitable honor of grading Fat Joe. So now, before I begin, I just have to put a disclaimer out there. I am a fan of Fat Joe. Me and QG actually was in Long Island one day. I think this was last summer, and we walked in a record store, and I walked out of there with 10 records. Remember, Q? And what was
Yeah,
one of
of
them?
course I remember.
A Fat Joe record.
It was a Fat Joe record. Yep.
Yep, I have 3 of his albums in my possession. Represent Jealous One's Envy and Don Cartagena. So nobody can tell me I am a Fat Joe hater. With that being said, however, I have to give him the following grades. So, Fat Joe, vocabulary, 7. Articulation, 9. Creativity, 7. Originality, 6. Versatility, 7. Voice, 10. Records, 10. Stage presence, 7. Sticking to themes, 8. Innovating rhythms, 6. For an overall score of 77, a C+.
What about his boots?
His boots? I'm not factoring his boots.
Oh
in
my God. Yo, that
You see how
picture,
many
oh my
beams
God.
on
They
those
roasted him. They roasted him about those boots.
I'm not
humble about it.
I'm not gonna lie. When Rev gave me Fat Joe the grade, I rolled my eyes. But yeah, you give Joe a C+. Now,
That's fair.
to back up my grades, records, I gotta give the man a 10.
He did
Oh,
have a lot of records, even
yeah.
after Pun died.
Yeah, and a lot, Lean Back and all the way up are the 2 noticeable ones. Fat Joe is the only guy. Well, not the only guy, because Jay-Z's done it too. But to have 2 hit major mainstream records over a decade apart, that's tough.
You know what it is with Joe that I love, especially from the beginning with the DITC. That's the Joe I really like because I remember that Fat Joe, especially with Flow Joe and all those other great records.
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't care for Fat Joe the Gangster.
I love Fat Joe the Gangster. That's
He was
like,
kind of ruthless a little bit back then.
Yo, listen, that verse from I Shot Ya is one of the hardest verses I've ever heard in my life. And I love when Joe rap like that. Even on the Gangstar records. On the Gangstar record, he went crazy on that record.
And you know what my issue with Joe is? I feel like Joe is too spotlight hungry. And what I mean by that is, so like for example, with the whole versus situation when he wanted to be in a versus so bad, and he would go to the versus and be in the crowd when they was in Madison Square Garden right in the front, and he was so anxious to get on, and he battled Ja Rule, and he got destroyed. And then even, did y'all hear about what Fat Joe told his kids and it got out the other day
about the whole Jay-Z?
Yeah, we actually covered it. Yeah, like
we ain't got money like that. Like what?
Right.
The man got a White Castle endorsement. What you mean you ain't got no money?
Nah, you know what it is?
He does. They don't.
He right. He's teaching them something different. Shaquille O'Neal did the same thing. Shaquille O'Neal is teaching his kids because his kids was like, Daddy, we rich. He's like, no, we not. He's like, you got to work. You got to work for this. You know what I'm saying?
That's exactly what they're going with this.
That's the method that he's showing them, and I understand that. It's just that it was put out there. They're like, oh, well, what does he mean? Well, now we have an idea.
You know what I think? You know what I hate to be the bad news when it comes to Fat Joe. I stopped after Jealous One Still Envy.
Really?
I don't know, man. I couldn't get into Loyalty. I mean, the Terror Squad thing was not bad. Then what was that other album he had after that? When he had My 4-4?
Oh yeah. What was that? What was that album?
That Dark Side.
Is it All of Nothing or something like that?
Oh yes, All or Nothing.
I don't know. I felt like
That's when he was beefing with 50 at the time when that album came. Yeah, and I agree with you because that song So Much More, I didn't like it. I didn't like. I mean,
So Much More was the beat was aight by Cool and Dre, but the only standout part was him paying homage to Tupac. That's it.
Exactly. But then let's get to this part. I think with Joe, instead of letting it flow naturally, which is what he started to do, chasing that commercial success once you get a taste of it. Because after representing everything like that, the Flo Joes and all them other when Don Cartagena came out, it was hard, but he also had, it wasn't that commercial because you still had them hard records. When he started working with R. Kelly and Genuine and doing all that other stuff with the big mink coats and all, and I said, okay, Joe,
that's where I lost it.
I see what you're doing, and then it kind of got ridiculous. It didn't feel authentic, like especially with the Terror Squad record. She wanna take me home. Shout out to you, Cameron. Cameron did the hook. I don't care what anybody says. Cameron did the hook of that record. Like those records, I wasn't feeling. What was that other record that he had? Who was it with? Jay Holiday?
Oh, I forgot about that. Oh, garbage.
That's my problem with Joe. I was like, I'm not feeling those records.
And then he tried again where he had Make It Rain. I mean,
but Make It Rain was a hit for him though, with him and Lil Wayne.
But it benefited more than Wayne, and Wayne only did the hook.
But you know why? Because that was during Wayne's "I'm Gonna Be on Everything. I'm the hottest rapper in the game" run.
That's where I was going with this. It was more beneficial for Wayne.
Switch to Southpaw. No, don't switch to no Southpaw, Joe.
Listen. A hit is a hit, though.
A hit is a hit, but
what has he done even after Make It Rain? He had records, but again,
it ain't all that though.
It really isn't.
Well, I tell you this though. My favorite Fat Joe record. I draw the line with Joe after Don Cartagena. However, the Crack House with him and Lil Wayne. Grand Theft Auto 4 sold me on that song. This is the Crack House. Welcome to the Crack House.
Lifestyle's the shit though. Lifestyle.
I love that. Now that shit I could deal with. I could deal with that record.
I like when Joe approaches like that. It still has a commercial appeal, but he's rapping hard. That's the Joe I like.
And he's got like he's back. He's got that BX Projects bat type feel in that song too.
The pissy stairways and the graffiti.
But you know what also messed it up? Joe. Like after Pun died, the breakup with Terror Squad, Joe didn't really have much of an identity either. He had records, don't get me wrong, and they would stand out. But like you said, the Genuines, the R. Kellys, the Nellies,
they're good songs, but I wasn't feeling them.
Me either. We talking all about thought about it club. I hated it.
I was, and even though the What's Love record is one of his biggest hits, nah, man, I can't listen to that record.
Me either.
I mean, if you had a party and people dancing to it,
and the sad part is that's one of his standout songs. They play that a lot.
It is, no question, it is.
He had that song. All I Need Was Tony and Armageddon.
Right. All that, yeah.
But then again, here comes another pattern. He was also catering to the women now.
Give me John Blaze. Give me that.
He still got outshot on that song.
Give me the Crack Attack. Give me those records, bro. I'll take those records. Give me Success. I'll take those records.
I'll even take Bet Your Man Can't Do It Like That. Even though Cuban Link was selfish.
He killed it.
Well, oh man. So for those of you out there who have your own report card that y'all want us to submit us.
Let me clarify you two. I'm talking about you, Kenny Man, and you, homeboy T.O. What's the dealio? Q-Tip only did the hook on that Gangstar record. He ain't have a verse.
I never said he had a verse.
Yes, you did.
I thought he had a verse.
He ain't had no verse on there. He only did the hook. And that hook, when he's making that gun sound. I
did say that. My bad.
I want to clarify that for y'all, man.
He did. He did only do the hook.
You do the thing. You got the thing. I got the thing.
Nah, that's not good, man.
That doesn't work.
That doesn't work, man. I'm sorry.
No, man.
Wasn't Q-Tip at one point a member of Good Music?
Yes. Yeah, he was.
He was a member of Good Music.
And didn't really make, well, if you want to count the Renaissance, if around that time, but other than that, man.
But,
yeah, that's a report card rep, y'all.
Yeah, if y'all got your own report card, email us, raplabpod@gmail.com, DM it to us. at Rap Lab Pod on Instagram. But before we get off tonight, I gotta say something that what do you mean? Oh, this is not bad. Why would I gotta say something? T.O., you gotta sigh. It's something that we can all be proud of, and you too. All right. Today's date as we record this is January 30th, 2022, because we record on Sundays, release the episode on Mondays, right? On January 26, 2020 was the first ever episode of the Rap Lab. We are officially 2 years old. Where when this whole thing first started, we didn't even think we'd last 3 months. Then the pandemic happened and I got sick. And for those of y'all who don't know and those of y'all who do know, I almost didn't make it. So the future of this thing almost didn't even make it past 3 months. But we still here. And I just like to thank all the people, especially the people in the countries we charted, in Germany and Paraguay and everywhere else. So especially, I didn't even know y'all like hip hop out in Thailand, but apparently y'all do. So
Thailand, really?
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Thank y'all so much.
Yeah. We
thank y'all forever.
Since the beginning, we've charted in officially 32 different countries. Some of them I didn't even know they spoke English. Others I didn't even know they had Wi-Fi or internet. So shout outs to y'all. But we made it 2 years. I just want to thank everybody. This is gonna be episode 96. So 4 more, we had a hundo. So, I just want to appreciate all the people. I want to tell the 3 of y'all, man. I appreciate y'all. I know Rev, you wasn't here from the beginning, but you came through, and we thought T.O. might have never came back, and then the band got back together, all 4 of us. So, man,
went from the treacherous street to the 4 horsemen.
Word up.
Yeah, there you go. I never want to be in the treacherous street because I'm not Cool Mo D.
You don't need to be Cool Mo D.
Man, I'm glad we done with report cards,
if
man.
If you were in the treacherous 3, you would be carrying the crates.
That's not even funny.
It ain't supposed to be funny, man. You can't stand up there with Special K, Sunshine, and Spoonie G and the rest of those guys, man. Come on now, show some respect.
I do have respect. Cool Mo D should show some respect for himself and take the
Mo D did show respect. Mo D showed respect by creating this report card and forcing us as hip hop fans to step our games up and look at music different. This is what we urge everybody out there to do when you listen. Don't just listen to a record, especially if you like the artist. Break down the record piece by piece. There's a difference between being a good rapper and being a lyricist. And to throw that out there, I know we're running, but that Cameron Hot 97 joint, good rap.
Yo, he killed that shit.
Not a lyricist. Cam is not a lyricist. Good rapper, not a lyricist.
At least, wow, you saying Cameron's a good rapper?
He's a good rapper, but he's not a lyricist. There's a difference.
But
I think he already let you. He on the song let me know. He already said he ain't trying to be a lyricist.
Yeah.
He warned you a long time ago.
By the way, I just want all the listeners and the viewers on YouTube know. Email us at raplabpod@gmail.com. Shout outs to our guy O'Dare, who is a good friend of the show and a loyal listener. He actually is the guy who influenced next week's topic. Like I said, people, y'all send us the topics, we gonna do them if it's not bullshit. But next week we're gonna tackle Complex's list of the top rapper every year since 1979. So fellas, y'all might have to do y'all homework a little.
That's gonna be tough.
Yeah, so we'll figure out a way to format it so we stay within the hour and a half to hour 45 time.
Yeah, that sounds like it's gonna be a long one.
Nah, well, you know me. I think
we should do two. I think we should do a baby. This is gonna have to be a breakdown. Ain't gonna be a whole 1979.
No, we not going one by one.
Okay.
I'll figure it out. But yeah, so if y'all got topics y'all want to hear and y'all want us to be around another 2 years, 5 years, whatever, send in y'all ideas. Cause
yes, sir.
Sometimes I would have never thought to do that episode. So
yeah, hit up the YouTube, the Instagram, comment, like, share, subscribe, all that.
Yeah. And please, if y'all are listening to this on Apple Podcasts, leave us a review in words. Give us a rating because we haven't had a review since September of 2020. So help us out. And if you got a business or anything else you own, I'll be more than happy to leave a review in return. So get at us. But until next week, we out. Welcome to
to the rap lab. Welcome to the rap lab.